As promised, here's another Stitch With Me video. And of course, we have our buddies, Cammie and Theo, with us as always. It is freezing outside right now. Yes, I see you, Cam. And so we need to stay nice and warm because prices of heating your home is ridiculous. Okay, Cam. That's enough. Lay down. So today I did a new start. I've stitched this before. This is Mirabilia Lady Justice. We're doing it again. And we'll see how it goes. Gotta pull everything up on my tablet. Make sure my stylist is here. We are using, like I said, all my floss is always kept on floss drops. I just prefer floss drops. I like the ease of just grabbing a thread, pulling it out, and being able to go. So I've had an interesting week this week. My husband had to leave Monday. He will be coming back sometime today. Today's Wednesday. For schooling for his job. And the last time he was away, oh my children were much younger. And all this week I've been worried about, oh, I'm gonna go nuts. It actually hasn't been too bad. They've all been pretty good. I had my nephew Monday into, he went home yesterday, so Tuesday, so he went home last night. And Vinny is 2 years old and very much so a boy and can be a pain in the butt. I could not get him to go to sleep at all Monday night. It was approximately 1 or so in the morning before I got him to go to sleep. So he was tired and he wanted his mom and he wanted his dad. And he was getting frustrated because that's what he wanted, but I couldn't give him that because Dad works on rigs, so he's away until I believe it's next Wednesday. Hey, guys, that's enough. Theo, no. No. Come lay down. Sorry, guys. Theo, come on. Good boy. Lay down. And so obviously there's nothing his dad could do, and his mom has to, she starts work, I believe it's at 6 o'clock in the morning, so she has to leave her house at around 5:30 to get... Theo! No! Come! Thank you. Lay down. And so she couldn't get him, come and get him either, because she had to get up, and that's the whole point of me having him overnight, is so that way, you know, his sleep schedule isn't messed up so bad. But it was a nightmare for me because my husband was gone, and my husband usually gets up in the morning because he has to be at work by 7. So he usually puts our high schoolers, Damon and Abby, on, get them up and, you know, get them off to school, so that way I only have to get up and get Lydia off to elementary school. But I put our neighbor's kids on the bus as well because he works 12-hour shifts too. So those guys come over and I just put them on the bus because it's just easier that way. And I only have them for like an hour and they're gone. But anyways, so my husband usually gets those guys, the Damon and Abby, my high schoolers, up and off to school, so that way I can, you know, rest and sleep in. Well, because he's away and at school, that wasn't going to happen, and I was already stressing out about having to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get the bigger kids off to school and everything else, which is dumb because whenever I used to work, I mean, I worked from 6 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night. So I guess it's just because I haven't been awake that early in a very, very long time. So, needless to say, when that alarm went off at 6 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday morning, I was so exhausted because we also had Sunday morning was the time shift where you had to shift your clocks ahead an hour. So, combine already being tired and sleepy from that, and then Vincent having me up until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then only getting 5 hours of sleep when I'm used to getting a good solid 8, and functioning all day, I was like, alright, well, you know, you can do this, it'll be alright. And I was gonna go and lay back down and go back to sleep once I got the high schoolers up, because again, they don't need me to walk out to the bus stop with them. They don't need me to, you know, pick out their clothes. They don't need me to help them get breakfast. I mean, they're 16 and 13 years old. They're pretty self-sufficient. They don't need mom to hold their hands to go off to school. I mean, I have some pretty decent kids. They you know, they usually follow the rules and stuff. So I was like, all right, you know, maybe I'll go upstairs and lay back down and go back to sleep. But then I was like, you know, well, I'm already awake. If I lay back down and go back to sleep, like, I'm going to be so, because I was only going to get about an hour's worth more of sleep. I thought, oh, if you go lay back down and go back to sleep for just that hour, and that's if I can, you know, lay right back down and go right back to sleep immediately, you're going to be so exhausted. So I decided that I would, just stay awake, and I was just like, you know what, everybody else is sleeping right now, why don't you just go ahead and take your shower, so that way, you know, you can have your shower done. And I'm really glad I did, because Vincent will usually sleep at my house until about 10 o'clock in the morning, because I'm so sorry, those two, hey, Theodore, Cam, they think somebody's, hold on a minute. Alright, back to my story. I had to open the door and show them that there was no one out there. God love those two. So I decided, alright, go ahead, get your shower, get that done and out of your way, you know, and then, you know, I don't have a bunch of kids after me for whatever they need, and I could actually, you know, get a decent shower in. Camille! Lay down. That's enough. So I went ahead and, hold on here. There should be 3 there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Nope. Oh, crap. I gotta screw up somewhere. There should be 4 in between here. Cam! No! Lay down! Well, we're gonna be missing. That's alright. We'll fudge it. So, I'm glad I ended up staying awake and going ahead and just starting my day and getting the shower done, because Vincent decided that he was going to wake up at 9 o'clock. And had I waited to take my shower until after I got all those other children and stuff off to, you know, my other child and the neighbor's kids and stuff off to school, I would not have been able to shower. So I'm glad I did that. Although I was tired and exhausted and didn't want to do any of it, I'm glad I did it anyways. Alright, I gotta mark off a few stitches here. We are there, to there, to there, to there, to there, to there. Camille. Okay, how many stitches need to be in between here? Because I gotta figure out where I messed up. There should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6. So yesterday was an interesting day. And then Vincent went home and I was like, all right, finally I can relax. Nope, that didn't happen. I had Lydia accidentally spilled stuff all over the place. And I was just like, this is the kind of day we're going to have today. It's just going to be a day where you are going to be tired and exhausted. And then my husband called, and our youngest daughter she'll be 8 in April. And so Dad, for her entire life, has never been away other than to like go to work. So she doesn't know what to do with her feelings because Dad isn't there. So as soon as she gets home from school, we have to call him and, we have to make sure that we can't call him, make sure he's not in class and stuff, make sure he's back at his hotel room. And then she likes to just, tell him about his day and everything else. And she likes to show him the work she did in school and things like that. And I mean, she's such a tender heart. She just loves endlessly. It was really hard on her when my husband's grandfather passed away because she went up there every weekend, and I mean, they had these little like slingshot like chickens, and they would shoot each other or throw the ball and things like that. Then she would her gram would hand Pop his pills, and then she would use a flashlight and make Pop open his mouth and make sure that he had dementia, and make sure that he swallowed all of his pills. And if he got a little mess on his shirt or anything, she'd help clean him up. Or when it was time to put Pop in bed, she would climb up in bed with him. He had a hospital bed, and she would climb up there and ask him, which way do you want to sit up, Pop, and watch some TV for a little bit, or are you ready to go lay down and go to sleep? And a lot of times Pop wasn't ready to go to bed. He wanted to watch his Westerns. So she, even though, she's just little, she doesn't, Westerns aren't interesting to her, but she would climb up there in that little bed with him and watch his Westerns and with him, and just snuggle with him, give him love. And she, so she's always been very tender-hearted, and she takes everything anybody says right to heart. So if somebody's mean, like, it breaks her poor little spirit. And but she's so kind and so generous to everybody that you can't help but she's just inspiring. And I hope I can achieve the level of kindness she has someday, because she just inspires me. But anyways, so her dad being away right now it's a little rougher on her, and she, before she goes to school, she wants to call him and see how, make sure he's awake and all that other fun stuff. So it's just been a big routine shift for me and all the kids, because it's like, man, like, you don't realize how much you, I wouldn't say depend on somebody, but how much help the other person really gives you until they're, like, not there. Because, like, it's just a lot of stuff that I don't usually have to do that now, right now, it's all of a sudden I have to do all of it. Every little wee tiny bit. Or, you know, like, I love my husband, but he snores absolutely so loudly that it wakes me up at night sometimes. And I gotta push him and shove him to get him to roll back over onto his side and get off his back or his stomach, because, you know, that's why it's so loud at that point. And I was like, man, I'm going to sleep so good. And last night I did sleep really good because I didn't have, you know, a 2-year-old that was upset because he wanted his mommy and daddy. But I did. But I was so tired and exhausted yesterday from, you know, not getting much sleep and then being awake extra earlier than I usually am. And was hoping that, you know, I had to wait until 10 o'clock before I could go to bed, because we have, our dogs, they're not really on a schedule, but they're kind of on a schedule because Theo is diabetic. He, like I said, he urinates a lot, and they sleep in crates at night because Theo is a chewer, and I don't want him to accidentally chew on something and choke on it when we can't pay attention to him. And so if Theo goes outside at night before bedtime and then gets put in his crate too early, then he is in his crate, you know, barking and whining to get out at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, I'll be darned if I'm going to have to be woken up again at a ridiculous hour because a dog needs to be let outside and I've had such a rough time. Like, I'm going to sleep. Period. I see where I messed up. Never mind. Darn it. Now I have to pull all this out. Anyway, see, we're not all perfect. We all make mistakes. I see what I did here. I had a stitch here done that I did not mark off. So that's why it's like all screwy. But yeah, and so I got all that stuff done, made myself stay awake until 10 o'clock, got the dogs outside, made sure all the kids were, you know, tucked in, locked the doors, did all the things, made sure everything was good to go for me to go to bed, and climbed up those darn stairs, lay down in bed, and man, wasn't it like blink, wide awake. It was no longer, I couldn't get to sleep, and I like to read at night before I go to bed, so I was like, alright, well, I guess we're just going to have a reading session at this point. And I know it's this one. So, what did I do? I read until about 11:30 at night before I finally fell asleep. And then back up this morning, do everything again, and get all the kids off to school. And I promised myself, hey, if you start your floss tube and do it, you're allowed to buy these couple charts. And you can buy the stuff that goes with it. And then, you know, I dye my own material and stuff, so that also included, you know, me dyeing all of the material, the fabric that I already have, and everything else, and decided which patterns I was going to get, and ordered those after I published my first video. And now they've all shown up, and I was sitting down with them all, and I got 3 Bella Filipina charts, and the one is a Mirabilia chart. And I was saying to myself, alright, now you need to pick one to start. And I was trying to decide, which one do you start? Which one do you do? And then, you know what I said? forget about it. We're just gonna do all of them. We're just gonna do all of them. So I'll have 5 of these guys, five new starts to show you guys on my next update, and we'll see how far I get along in them all, because we're just gonna add them all in. I don't really stitch on like a rotation or anything, because if I put too much pressure on myself, then it's like I cripple myself. I can't all of a sudden, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, besides all of a sudden I can't complete those tasks. So I just kind of, I try and get like, at least if I pull out, whenever I pull out one of my projects, I try to get like five days on it before I put it away. And I feel like that's, you know, a pretty good minimum for me. Which one? So that's what I do. I pull out a project, stitch on it for about 5 days, and call it good. Now that I fixed all that, at least you guys got to see me mess stuff up. I'm not perfect. I make all kinds of mistakes all the time. There we go. And so, I mean, it's been an interesting week. We have had, you know, nothing's went wrong or anything. It's just, it's been a long week. I'm ready for my husband to be home. And this is only the first leg of the schooling that he has to go through. He'll be home for next week. He'll be home, and then he will have to go back to school again. But the next time he goes back to school, he'll be gone from Monday till Friday. And thankfully these 3 days, it was kind of nice to have like it started out with just these 3 days, because it was it's been like a nice easy way to dip our toes in and not feel so overwhelmed or anything. But we miss him like crazy. We're ready for him to be home. But hopefully with all this schooling that he'll get this promotion at work, and that'll be nice. I'm sure he'll love it. So tell me down in the comments, what have you guys been getting up to this week? Anything interesting? Anything fun? Anything unexpected happen? I love the sound of floss going through the fabric. I don't know why, but it's just so calming to me. I love it so much. But so, the charts that I got. Okay, so there's a couple different YouTubers that I like watching online, and the two that I've already did one, Lady Justice, for a different one, and I've sent that off. This one I'm doing for another one. They're both attorneys, so I figure, you know, Lady Justice would make sense for these guys. And so I just figured I'd start this one up, get it done and over with, so that way I can send it out. And now the 4 charts that I got. One was Bella Filipina, I believe it's Maria Mickling. I think that's how you say it. And another one was Bella Filipina, Phoenix Queen. And another one was Bella Filipina, I think it's Gaia, the Earth Goddess. I'm trying to remember these off the top of my head. And then the last one I got is Mirabilia, I believe it's Wood Goddess is what it's called. And I'm Still waiting on the threads and beads to come for all of those. And once I get all of that and get everything on floss drops and sorted, then I think I'm just gonna start them and say heck with it. Yeah, only live for a short amount of time, and why not? Who's it gonna hurt besides my poor little soul of having a bunch of extra things that I need to do? But I enjoy cross stitching, so as long as I don't pressure myself to have anything finished in a certain amount of time, I feel pretty good about it. I have it painted this week. Maybe that's what's going on. I didn't really have a chance to really paint this week. There's just, like I said, with my husband being gone and then having my nephew and things like that, it's just too much stuff going on. Making sure everybody's fed and they've got everything they need and such just means that stuff is gonna have to be put on hold. I enjoy painting too. I like the process of watching things come to life. Trust me, whenever I first started painting, and I'd say all but the last 90% of the painting is completed and it still looks bad. But that last 10%, it just all comes together and it looks fantastic. And I love that part. Because the entire time through that process, I'm thinking, are you doing this? Like, this part here doesn't look right, or, you know, this color doesn't go here. It looks ridiculous. I doubt myself the entire time. I think that's normal for most people. Because you doubt, and then it comes out and you look at it and you're like, wow, I did that. But yeah, I think those two have finally settled down and stopped their racket. I finally get comfortable. The wind is whipping outside today, so both of those two are like, there was a leaf that shook. Chase after it. Somebody alert everybody. There's something outside. God love them. I can't imagine that amount of anxiety and stuff poor dogs go through with that. I'm sure, you know, my husband hasn't been away like this either since we've got the dog, so I'm excited to see what they both do when he finally walks through the door, and they're probably freak out and go insane. But it'll be cute enough. It's just been one of those weeks where there's been a lot on my plate, but I feel like, you know, it's not so bad. Theodore, no, lay down. He's not happy. I have them gated in a different room. Cam wanted to play too much, and Theo was trying to... It's kind of like when I gate them in that one room, they kind of know like it's quiet time, but he's protesting and not happy with me. Because he's like, but Mom, you're the whole way out here, and I want to be out there too. And it's like, well, I'd let you, but I need peace and quiet right now. Not everybody wants to hear those dogs bark like crazy. No, Camille. Man, as soon as I mention that B word, one of them does it. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's pretty good. Been a pretty decent week. I mean, a couple more nails broke. I don't remember what the guy's doing, but got those fixed up, and now they look funny compared to my other nails, but that's life. But yeah, I everybody's doing pretty good here. Nothing really to report other than, you know, my husband's gone, and I mean, it's been an interesting week, and I'm ready to get my Easter decorations out. My husband was supposed to get those out before he left, and we both forgot, and so I think when he gets home tonight, as long as it's not too late, because he's a couple hours away for school, I'll get everything else cleared off in here that can't be up while the Easter decorations are up, and put those out. These are kind of, I guess they're somewhat heirlooms, because they were the decorations that I grew up for Easter with that my mom had painted when I was really little. I mean, I can't even remember an Easter without them. So if I can't remember a time without them, so I must have been pretty small when she did them. And she gifted those to me a little over 2 years ago, and I didn't have a place to set them out that little fingers couldn't get to them, and I finally have a place to put them. And Vincent's pretty good now. If I ask him not to, you know, if I tell him, no, those aren't yours, you know, put those back, he usually does. He listens to me pretty well now, versus where last year, that's one, they're all made out of like porcelain and glass, so I didn't want to risk bringing them out and Vincent breaking them, because I mean, there's a couple of them that I've broke before, and you can see where my mom like glued them together and stuff, but I don't want them to be smashed into tiny bits and pieces that, you know, they can't be fixed, and he was just too little. So I think this year we're going to try it, and if worse comes to worse, I'll just keep the box with all the bubble wrap and stuff for them pretty handy. And if I need to, then I'll just put them away again for another year. But we're gonna try and see if we can put them out this year or not. I'm hoping we can, because I brought out my Christmas decorations this year that were glass like that, and he left them alone. He never even bothered them once. So I'm hoping that I can do that this year and not have to worry about it. But I guess we'll just test the waters and see how he does. God love the little guy. He's such a little sweetheart. His mom gets mad because he listens better to me than he does her, and I had to explain to her, like, listen, kids listen better for everybody else but their parents. It's just the way it is. I don't know what to tell you. But he doesn't do too bad. I mean, he's only 2. Really, I think he does pretty amazing. If I can just tell him, no, put that back, please, and, you know, he does it, then that's a major goal in itself. Oh, the funny thing is he loves farm animals. Vincent does, my 2-year-old nephew. Loves farm animals. So, of course, when he comes to Aunt Nittany's house, because, okay, so my nieces and nephew call me Aunt Nittany. And it's funny because we live not too far from Penn State, which a lot of people will call, you know, they're the Nittany Lions. But my oldest nephew, Cyrus, he will be 21 this year. When he was little, he couldn't say Aunt Brittany, and it came out as Aunt Nittany. So it's kind of, that's just who I became. You know, your nieces and nephews and all that stuff, they tend to name you if they can't say those words, and all of them call me Aunt Nittany. It's going to be a day today. I can see it already. I figure we'll do this for a while, and then we got to get some cleaning done, and got to put the dishes away, and I've got to dust my living room, which really, honestly, the living room's well, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the living room, or do you think the kitchen is worse to dust? Well, I think the kitchen stinks because sometimes, like, it depends on if the dust is laying on, like, you know how every once in a while you, like, especially if you're, like, cooking with a deep fryer or something like that, like, all of a sudden it gets, like, the light coating of like, the oil or, like, around, like, your stove or, like, around your cabinets, and then if the dust sticks onto that, like, then it, you know, it requires a lot more elbow grease to get rid of it versus, you know, in the living room here, yeah, like, I've got picture frames and a million books and real plants and fake plants and, oh gosh, and then all my craft stuff is in our living room, in a corner. I got me a little corner that all my stuff goes in, and sometimes, I don't know, it's a lot of stuff to move, but like I said, like in the kitchen, sometimes it requires a little more elbow grease to make sure everything's nice and clean versus where the living room, like, yeah, it's a lot of stuff to move, but, you know, I just move it and give a little spritz of the cleaner stuff and wipe it right off, and that's the end of it, versus out in the kitchen where I got to scrub at it to make sure it comes off good enough. So I don't know, but anyways, I gotta dust this living room. I gotta vacuum. As soon as springtime hits, my husband's gonna kill me because we gotta pull this area rug up and it's gotta go outside. We pressure wash it. We don't, I've tried using a rug scrubber and stuff like that on it. It just doesn't do a good job, so I just used a pressure washer, hang it up over the clothesline, and put the soap into the pressure you know, carpet soap into the pressure washer, and just spray the heck out of that sucker, and it comes back to being nice and pretty and clean. Because, you know, I'm smart and picked, our floor is our area rug. It's like a cream and, excuse me, blue color. And we have a bunch of children. Plus, I babysit a lot of kids, and then we have the dogs. And my husband said whenever I bought the darn thing, he's like, "Are you insane? Like, you realize this is never gonna stay clean?" And I was like, "It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Like, you know, it's even if it's, you know, we could if it gets too bad or whatever, we can always just, you know, throw it out and buy a new one eventually or something. You know, like, I'll work diligently. I'll make sure it stays clean." And I have. We've had it now for over a year, like 2 years or so now, and it's stayed clean. It's definitely a process to have to move all the furniture and everything and roll up this giant area rug, because it's what is it, 14 by 12 or something like that. I forget what size it is right now. But it's huge. It takes the both of us to roll it up and get it the heck outside. And he hates it. He absolutely hates it. Because he's like, he curses me every time, but it's like, you know, you want it to stay nice. We gotta do the work to keep it nice. Because if he would have had it his way, he probably would have bought a brown rug. Any color that would have blended in all the, any dirt or anything any of the kids or stuff like that got in here. Versus, you know, little old me. Nope. Gotta pick the one that's difficult to keep it clean. But it's not like, you know, it's once a month we gotta take it out or anything. It's, you know, it's like once a year, as soon as, you know, springtime hits, it's time to do all the spring cleaning and everything. You know, you clean your ceilings and you clean your walls and you Theodore, no. You know, you really get in there, if you're insane like me, you get in there and you scrub your furniture and you do all the crazy stuff so that way it's all nice and done. And where do I want to start at here? We'll just keep going down. And I mean, I take light fixture bulbs and stuff like that down and clean out the light fixtures. And I mean, it's just, honestly, it's ridiculous, but I can't. I hate doing all that work, but once it's done, like, it smells so fresh and clean in my house, and I feel like, like, woohoo, it's clean again for another year. But I was super excited because I got a new, it looks like a mop, but it's got this big giant extension rod and stuff, right? And it's meant to be used to clean your ceilings and your walls and stuff. And it has like these, how do you put that? It's got this really cool material that goes over it, and comes with three little pad things that go over the mop. And the bucket it comes with, like, you stick it down in here and then you push it through this thing, and it really wrings it out really good. And I'm excited to use it this year because I was like, man, if this could knock off some time, because I mean, our ceilings are like, I don't know, 8 feet high. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'd say they're about 8 feet high. And I'm only 5'3". Like, I'm just a little person. So in order to clean these things, I have to take out the giant stinking ladder, and I gotta climb up and then, you know, wipe a small area, climb down, rinse out the rag, you know, wring it out, climb back up, rinse another, you know, get another small area, do that a couple times before, you know, I'm out of reach on where my ladder, where I can reach on the ladder. So then I gotta climb down and move the ladder and do all kinds of stuff. So hopefully with this thing, I mean, I'm hoping it does a really good job, and I can just, you know, stand on the ground and be able to reach everything from the ground and not have to climb up and move a ladder and climb back down and do a bunch of extra work just to clean stuff. The only thing I will need the ladder for, though, is like our ceiling fan in our room and the living room. They have like those glass orbs things where the light bulbs go. So I'll have to pull those down, wash those out, and then it'll require me to put those back up. And then in our bathroom and in our hallway, there's this little, I don't even know what even the purpose is, but there's a glass piece like this that sits at the very end of the light, and it's circular, and it's just a circle piece of glass with glass cut out of it, and then the light bulb actually goes up and through that and scrolls in. But it's literally like a thin piece of glass that's just in the shape of a circle, and it's flat, so it's not even like concave or anything like that. So I'm not really sure what the purpose of that is, other than giving somebody something extra to clean. But I have to pull those down too. But still, it's not that, like, if I don't have to use that gosh darn ladder for, you know, 2 weeks to climb up and climb down to clean everything, I don't know. I feel like that will be an achievement of itself. My husband, though, he was just like, what in the world did you buy that for? And then I, like, explained it to him, and he's just, like, looking at me, like, shaking his head. And it's like, listen, dude, you're not the one that climbs up and down these things and clean all this stuff off. It's me. So unless you're gonna get your happy little butt up there and start cleaning it, like, you're freaking 6 feet tall, man. I'm much smaller than you are. Like, you can reach almost, like, if you stand on your tippy toes and reach with your freaking arms, you can reach the freaking ceiling and stuff. I can't do that. I'm so far away, it might as well be out in outer space. But he doesn't care in the end. He just likes to pick on me because I'm small. But you know what? That smallness comes in real handy whenever, you know, he's outside and he's fixing a car or whatever, and, you know, he drops something somewhere and his big old beefy hands can't get in there and get it, and then he'll call for me out there, and yep, these tiny little hands can reach down in there and I can grab it, no problem. I'm so excited. My husband is coming home today. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I love all our kids, but they've been... It's like they know Dad's gone, so it's like, hey, let's argue a little more. Let's get underneath each other's skin a little bit more. Kids. But they've been really good otherwise. You know, I cook them dinner and put dinner down, and there's no complaints about what's for dinner or anything. I guess, I mean, it kind of helps that, like, before I got dinner this week, I made sure that I asked them, like, what kind of things do you guys want? So I've just made sure that I've cooked things that they already wanted, because that was one last thing I did not want to have to deal with, was them not being happy over what was for dinner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and that's 5. Better double check that count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Mark those off. Maybe I'll have to show you guys, like, I have this big tablet stand, and I have everything hooked up and just the right way, so that way everything's at, like, the arm's reach and nothing, like, I can still access my water, and I can do everything and still be able to stitch. Especially if you have a 2-year-old running around and he's trying to get into something, you need to be able to move everything out of your road real fast to stop him. I'm excited for summertime to come. I bought a Case Creation, I believe it's Z lap stand. So that way, when, you know, spring and summertime hits, I can go outside and stitch. Because I am not dragging this Lowry and everything else outside. That's too much. No, thank you. Call me lazy or just, I don't know what, but I think it'll just be easier to grab my project in its bag and whatever frame I'm stitching it on at that point, and just go that way. Because I like being outside, and my nephew Vincent loves being outside, and my kids love being outside. So it'll just be a nice way where I can be outside and still stitch. Oh, I don't think I told you guys about, so I have flower beds outside. I do garden during the summer, just with posies and flowers. I don't do a vegetable garden or things like that. My husband does not. The only vegetable he eats is corn, and I'm like, that's not even good for you. Like, it has no nutritional value. Or, thankfully, none of my kids got his weird habit, and they all eat their vegetables, thank God. But anyways, I have flower beds. Once they get sprouted up and growing and stuff during the summertime, I'll have to take you out there. There's calla lilies out there. We'll see if they make it this year, because last year I had skunks get in and tear up the bulbs. I have liatris out there. I have a How many rose bushes do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 rose bushes. In fact, I want to get 3 more. My husband's probably going to want to shoot me, but I have 3 of them are red. 2 of them are like a peachy orange color, and 2 of them are pink. And I was like, but I really want 2 yellow ones and a white one yet. He thinks I'm nuts. Because I do spend a lot of time outside, you know, making sure all the weeds stay out of it. And like with the rose bushes that I have, they're knockouts. If you, once that bud is dead, if you take and go right down to the stem where it was, and you just, you know, pinch it and pull and pop that right off, it'll start new growth there, and, you know, more blooms will come. So with 7 rose bushes outside, you know, I do spend a lot of time picking at them to make sure that they stay blooming all year long. Although I am worried about the one rose bush that is right outside of our house, because it's in front of our tenant's property, and it looks like something fell on it or something, but I can see that there's a main branch for it that's broke. And which, with knockout bushes, I mean, they're pretty hard to kill. But I like keeping them big and puffy and full, and I get a lot of compliments on them because they look really nice. But I know that one there with that one big branch, it's going to look sad this year, because it's like half the bush that's going to have to be cut out because of it. And I'm going to be sad, because I've grown that thing for, I don't know, 4 years or so. I think about 4, maybe 5 years now. Wait. I think about 4 years. I think it's been grown for about 4 years. And then we have I have 9 bark bushes out there. I have there's a foxglove out there. Theodore. No. I'm trying to think what else is out there. Some plants that my grandma Joanne gave me that I can't remember the names of, but she absolutely loves. Theo. No. Lay down. But yeah, so once those get up and going, and they're pretty, because right now there's certain ones of my daffodils are starting to come up through, but there's only a couple in there. A bunch of, like, again, there's irises out there. Those are out there too. But we have moles and skunks and rabbits here like crazy. And last year the moles got to one of my iris bushes and just demolished the bulbs in that one, and I was so afraid that like it was just going to kill the whole entire thing, and I was just going to have to rip them up and then go out and buy new and plant those. But thankfully I was able to go and pack down some new earth, because they tunneled all through it. I mean, it was bad. It was barely hanging on by anything. So I got some dirt and was able to plug up all the holes and tunnels and everything else they had dug through there. But they ate. I think there's tulips out there too, but I think I only have 1 tulip left. I think they've ate all the tulips, because that's all I remember coming up last year was 1 tulip. And oh Lord, what's it called? Hyacinth? I think that's what it's called. There was quite a few of those out there too, but last year only 1 came up. I mean, they've just wreaked havoc. They got to like my calla lilies, and just ate a bunch of those. Like, it was just devastation last year of all my plants. But we will see soon how it goes this year with that garden, and I'm excited to see and get out there and get that warm weather, because this weather in Pennsylvania has been crazy the last, I don't know, 2 weeks. It'll be like up in the 50s and like real low 60s, and then all of a sudden it's like bam, we're snowing outside and we're getting like 4 to 6 inches of snow on the ground, and like the wind is whipping across like it's in the middle of winter again, and just cold as heck. All over again. But guys, I better get off here. I better start getting some of my cleaning done. I need to pull stuff out for dinner tonight, and I need to take my shower, and I'm pretty sure my dogs need to go OUT and start getting the rest of this day done. But this is how much I have done on Lady Justice so far, and I've worked on her for what day did I start this one? Let me look here. Maybe if I can figure out where I put it. Started this on the 11th. What's today? I don't remember. Today's the 15th. So 3 days. 3 days I've worked on just this one. Yep. Pretty good progress so far. I don't mind doing these ones because there's a lot less confetti. There's more like solid stitching. But so far this month I've worked on Pledge of Allegiance. What else did I work on? I worked on this. I worked on the giant Disney project. I started charting some of those Disney ones too. But anyways, I gotta stop yapping, Brittany. You gotta stop yapping. You got lots of stuff to do, and if you don't get it done, you're gonna be stressed out and worried, and then you're gonna have all these kids here, and you're gonna be trying to get it done, and that's pointless when kids are home. So, alright. I'm gonna sign off. Thank you for stitching with me. If you enjoy it, subscribe, like, come hang out with me again. Once a week, well, 3 videos a month will be Stitch With Me videos. 1 will be update video. And that's what we're doing so far. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.